Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to have a go at modelling this Majoras mask inside of Blender. We'll then have a go at texturing and rendering everything inside of Blender as well. So we'll have a look at how to texture paint on top of existing materials, how to get some missing materials. So everything done inside of Blender. There's one add-on used, which is Blender Kit, which is to get materials, which is completely free, but everything else is just as Blender is normally. So I hope you enjoy it. If you got any questions, leave a comment down below or email me at design with Simon at outlook.com. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is select everything, delete it. So press A to select all, and then X to delete, and just click on delete. We then want to bring in our reference image. So I'm going to come to the front view, Shift A, come down to image, and come to references. And then I've got on my desktop my reference images. And there. So we'll model half. I'm going to model like the main face of the mask first. We'll do half of it, then mirror it over, and then we'll start to add in these details, and then we'll do all the painting in Blender as well. So before I do the modeling side of things, I'm going to select it. On the right hand side on the image tab down here, I'm going to turn on opacity and just drag it down a little bit just so it's a bit easier to see through. I'm also going to take it, hit G to grab, and Y just move it back a little bit as well, like that. So I'm going to come to the front, and I'm going to go Shift A, let's do mesh, and I'm going to do a cube. And then I'm going to go Shift Z to make it X-ray so I can see through it all. You can do that up here as well by clicking on these buttons here, but keyboard shortcut Shift Z is much easier. Click on it, hit Tab to go into edit mode, and then I'm going to Control R to add an edge loop, click, and I can move it around. If I just click right click again, it'll leave it directly in the middle. I go 3 to go into face mode, drag, and select these side of the faces, X, and click on delete faces. You can, by the way, so it's one vertex, two face, two edges, three face, or it's up here as well. So if your keyboard shortcuts aren't working, that's where they are. So we want to start making this meet the profile of this mask a little bit. So we need to add in some more geometry to deal with. So I'm going to go Control R to add an edge loop. If I then scroll my scroll wheel, I can add a few more edge loops as well. So I'm going to add in a couple on both sides there. Now I'm going to move these ones around. I want to make sure that on these ones on this side down here, I'm only going to move them up and down. I don't want to move them left and right. I want to make sure they stay directly in the middle for me to mirror it all. So I'm going to go 1 to go to vertex mode, grab this and hit G, and then if I press Z, it locks it in the Z axis so I can't move it left to right. Come down to this one up here, G, Z, like that. So I'm not going to touch those at all anymore. I'm going to leave those where those are. And now I'm just going to box select. Make sure it's box select, by the way. Don't just click on that because you're not going to grab all of it. So I grab that. You see there's the one underneath it on the other side there, which is why we always box select. So I'm going to grab, just keep box selecting, hit G to grab, and move these into position. Don't worry if it doesn't meet it exactly yet, because we will add in some more edges as we need them. Just turning down the opacity a bit more so that I can see the mask a bit better. That's like the rough outline, but you can see here we're still not meeting the edges of the mask, so we're going to add some more edges. So Control R to add an edge loop, click, and G, and you can just repeat that step as many times as you need to add some more edges to help you refine the shapes. I think that will do. I'm going to press tab. Oh, sorry, I'm going to select that anyway. I'm going to press 3 to go into face mode. I'm going to select all these back faces. And X and delete face. So I've got those, and then Shift Z to go into X-ray mode, 1 to go to vertex, box select all those, G, and Y, I'm just bring them in. A little bit like that. So now we're going to mirror it across. So this is why we kept it directly in the middle. So our origin which is that orange dot there, is directly where we want it to be. Add modifier, so click on the spanner, go on the modifiers, generate, and mirror. And straight away, I'm going to click on apply. So what we can do then, if we add another modifier, sorry, go to generate and subdivision, you see it's starting to take the shape a little bit. There's still a bit more we want to do. So I want to make this a bit more like a solid thing. So what we can do is add another modifier, go to solidify, and you can drag this and see what happens. It makes it an actual solid object rather than just like a sheet of paper thin. Something like that. And then to apply it, again, you can click on that arrow, or if you just hover over it, hold on Control and then press A, it'll apply it as well. I'm going to give this a save, just to make sure nothing crashes. Okay. So we see we're sort of getting the shape that we want. You can keep that modifier and just click on this display one so that it doesn't appear. Or you can get rid of it, it doesn't really matter which one. So I've got this. So what I'm going to do is I want to round the face of the mask off a little bit. Okay, so to help do that, I'm going to press T to go to edge mode. I'm going to click with Alt and left click and hold on Shift to grab all these edges. Like that. I'm going to Control B to bevel. Get the menu up. And 2 segments. Something like that. And let's check our subdivisions. Okay. Now we're overlapping a little bit there, which we don't want. So let's go back a little bit. Control B. Let's try that now. But yeah, that's more like it. What we then want to do is make it more of like a rounded face a little bit. So I'm going to press 3 to go to face and select these 3 faces. I'm then going to come up here to proportional editing, which is this symbol here. Click on this. I'm going to up this number to 2. And then I hit G to grab and press Y and pull it out. You see that it's slowly rounding off the faces, it's doing it to everything. It's basically affecting the bit in the middle the most and then everything else slightly. Just so I can round it off a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. G, Y, just so it's not a completely flat mask because that look weird. So we've got that rounded sort of face to it. I do need to add some supporting edges on here, so I'm going to turn this off. So super easy to do. So I'm going to click on it and go tab to edit mode. I'm going to press 2 to go to edge mode, and I'm going to Alt and left mouse button click, and then Shift and keep repeating that. So I grab everything around there. Let's go Control P to bevel. So we've got those bevels there. Again, I'm just going to keep come back and forth, just checking I'm not messing anything up. You see that's holding the shape of that a lot more. Now, as I was doing proportional editing, I've then messed up the back of this, so it's no longer flat. We can change that quite easily. 3 to go to face mode. I'm going to press Alt and click on this edge, and that'll select that entire loop. And press S to scale, Y to scale. Before I do that, I'm going to turn proportional editing off. S to scale, Y to lock it in the y-axis, and press 0. And that is then completely straighten that out again. Okay, while keeping everything else rounded. I'm then going to press 2 to go to edge mode again, select these 2 edges, make sure it's gone all the way around, Control B to bevel, and then let's have a look at our subdivision. Click on it, shade smooth. So there you go, we've then got our face of our mask. So now let's make sure we save this. We start working on the other details. Let's start with these, I don't know what you call them, like the face details that you got on here, like the upraised bits that are coming on. Again, what we'll do is we'll mirror it, we'll do one side and then we'll mirror it as we're going along. So let's go to Shift and A. I'm going to go to curve. I'm going to add I'm going to come up and grab a Bezier curve and press Tab to go into edit mode. A to select all, X and delete vertices. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this draw brush. If I click on surface now, if I then start drawing, that's going to stick on the surface. So then if I was to come here and add some depth to it, it's going to stay on the surface exactly as we need it. So that's why we're going to do it that way. So I'm going to Control Z to undo. Out to the front. And now what we're going to do is start drawing these details on. Now I've made this way too big, so I'm going to change the thickness of this. You can always change this later on. It's not a big deal if it's not exactly the right profile, or if the thickness is too much. I guess that hasn't drawn on the surface, and that's because we've got X-ray mode on rather than what we want to be on is opacity mode. So bear with me 1 second. Let's turn that off. And then what we want to do is turn to X-ray mode there. That's what we want. I'm going to do that again. So now that's staying on the surface, which is what we want. So back to front. And then let's start drawing this out. Now I'm going to redo that just because I didn't have my mask right in the right position on the screen. Let's make that a bit smaller again. Okay. That looks a bit more like it. Okay, like that. So let's come out of X-ray mode for a second. You can see we've got that sitting on the surface. We can now, if I come into select mode, grab that handles those and move that around a little bit. Okay, and as I said, you can under data there for your curves. Under geometry, this is where you can make it really thick or really thin. Okay, so you can always change later on until you turn it to convert it to a mesh, at which point you're committed to it. Okay, so what we can do now is now I've gone into X-ray mode, and you can start to grab these handles and start to make sure you're happy with how this is all lining up. I'm going to put this about here because we're going to mirror this across and then do a little bridge there to make sure that it all lines up. But actually, we didn't do too bad when it came to lining it up by the looks of it. And if you need to add some more, you can just do that Control B. Oh, sorry, what you can then do is subdivide to grab another bit that you can deal with. In fact, I'm going to do that again. Let's right click and subdivide. So I've got an extra piece here. There you go, that looks a bit more like it. Actually, that's looking pretty good, so I'm happy with that. Just need to on this piece. Let's go to the front. Let's grab that. Move it like that. We will fill that in a second. Let's then take this, I'm going to right click, convert to mesh, and then what we'll do is come to modifiers, add a modifier, generate mirror, so we've got that on both sides, and we'll apply that, and then here, tab to go to edit mode, let's hold on shift and grab those, right click, loop tools, and bridge, so then we've got that joined together. And I'm going to give this a save, again just to make sure nothing crashes. And on these two bits here, I'll grab this edge here, and then let's grid fill like that. Now actually, I think what I'm going to do, because I've kind of messed up that little bit there, let's go to face mode, select those X, delete faces, and then I'm going to select these X, delete faces. Now I've got to remember which ones I did there. I feel like it was X, delete faces, select that one, Control L, selects all those similar, X, delete faces. And then what we'll do is grab those there, and then we'll go to, you can either go to face and grid fill, or I've got it on my quick shortcuts, which is Q, and then grid fill like that. Q and grid fill. Now if I were to come and do a subdivision, goes off much like that. Okay, so that part is done. We're going to do the inside detail bit as well. So let's do the same thing again. Get in the habit of just saving it every once in a while. Come to the front. I'm going to turn on X-ray mode. Same as before. Let's do Shift A, curve, Bezier curve. Tab to go edit mode. A to select, X to delete vertex. Vertex, sorry. I'm going to come to draw. Make sure you get the draw brush, not the annotate brush, because they look very, very similar. And I've made that mistake several times. Draw brush. Now it should remember the settings from before. I've got those in, and this is the bit again. We're going to start from here. Let's work our way around. Remember, we can always tweak the shape if we need to. It's not a big deal, but we want to get it as close as we can do. And again, we're going to do one and just mirror it across. Like that. Now I do think this detail is a little bit smaller. So let's try something like that. And again, go select. So you can select here, or press W to go to the select tool. Play around a little bit with the curve. Okay, that seems to have gone okay, actually. Maybe in here I want to right click, subdivide, just bring this up a little bit so it's a bit more rounded. Vector mode. There we go. So we've got that. That much like I practiced. And let's we okay with that bit? Yeah. Let's do what we did before. Let's just check actually, are we happy with that size? 0.03. And maybe they are the same thickness. I think slightly smaller. Just slightly smaller. Okay. Now let's take that, right click and convert to mesh, because once it's done that we then can't alter it. And take that, and again let's come to modifier, generate, and mirror, and then Control A to apply it. So that's pretty much the hardest part of the actual modeling side of things done, to be honest with you. The rest of it is pretty simple. So again, I'm going to give that a save. Let's go to the front, Shift A, mesh, and I'm going to grab a cone. G to grab and bring it up. First of all, I'm going to click tab, 3 to grab that edge, X, and delete that face because we don't want it. Let's then come to the front, Shift Z to go to X-ray mode. And then G to grab and scale it a bit like that. Let's grab this. Oh, no, grab that. Tab to go to edit mode. 2 to go to edge mode. Grab that. I'm going to scale that, make it thinner. Grab this a bit fatter. That. And then 1 to go to vertex mode. Grab G. Move to position like that. Looking about right. We will shade smooth, make sure I've not got any of those weird lines. Let's bring that into position. G, Y to drag it over. We just want to make sure we've got no clipping through. We've got a little bit, but we will do 1/2. Make sure we get rid of all the clipping, and then we'll mirror everything over again. Come to the front. Shift D, duplicate. R to rotate. Bring it over. Tab to edit mode, 1 to vertex mode, and grab all of it, and G and just bring it in. Like that. Grab that one, Shift, oh, wrong thing. Grab that, Shift D, over, tab to edit mode, 1 to get to vertex mode, G and drag it over. Shift D, Shift D again. Tab to edit mode, 1 to the vertex mode, grab and move into position. And then same with this one. Okay, maybe it would have been better. I'll do those ones. Take it, rotate it more, like that, so it's a bit straighter, and then let's grab this one. Probably makes more sense. Might make our life a bit easier later. Just thinking, not on the wrong thing. Just thinking in terms of trying to line it all up. Grab that, rotate it. D, let's rotate. Okay, so we've got those spikes. I'm going to hide this reference image by clicking H on it. I'm just going to come in and just check. Now I haven't got any clipping on here, which is what we like. You can see, if you go to Shift Z to go to X-ray mode, you could see if there was going to be clipping, which is why I decided to grab the bottom rather than like rotate the whole thing and then just move that bit. So it doesn't appear to be any clipping, so we are all good up here. There's just a little bit of clipping going on up here. Let's come to the front. I'm going to grab this, hit G to grab it, move it up a little bit. Check that that's still attached, which it is. So that side of things is done. File, save again, and then we'll do some mirroring. So let's Shift D to duplicate, right click, and we go to mirror along the X. Put the front on hide our reference image. G and then X. Oh no. GX. So let's do right click, set origin, 3D cursor. So now hopefully let's do this. Shift D, click, right click, mirror. There you go. That's rather than have to move across. Let's do that. Do this one, right click, set origin to 3D cursor, because the 3D cursor is that thing there. Shift D, right click, mirror, X. Shift, no, right click, set origin, 3D cursor, Shift D, click, and then mirror, X. Set origin to 3D cursor, Shift D, click, and then mirror, X. So now we've got all those details. Again, we'll just check there's no clipping going on. Again, we are all good. The last thing then, those eyes. So what we'll do, again, let's get this a save. Come to the front. Let's go do Shift A, add a mesh, and rather than doing a sphere, I'm going to do a cube. G, Y, move it over. And what I'm going to do is generate subdivision and add a couple of subdivisions. You get a better quality circle that way, and apply. Hit tab to go to edit mode. And I come to the left. Shift Z to go into X-ray mode. 3 to go to face mode. And I drag select one of those, X, and delete faces. I've now got half of that sphere there. Front, Shift Z, come over, S to scale to make it smaller. G, Y to bring in. Something that's G, Y, bring it up. That's S, Y, and split it down a little bit. G, Y, like that. So I've got clipping. Well, it's not clipping too much. G, Y. It's going to start clipping a little bit, isn't it? Oh no. Okay, and then tab to go to edit mode. And what we'll do is to go to edge mode, grab that, G, Y, drag it down a bit. And then we can come to the top, Shift Z. I'll start grabbing the vertices just to make sure it's not clipping through. Drag it in. Press GG just to make sure. I'm not messing up the circle too much. edge mode, or edit mode, sorry. Come around so that's no longer clipping. Got our eye. Let's shade smooth. Same as before, let's take that, right click, set origin to 3D cursor. Shift D to duplicate, right click, mirror, X. So, modeling side of things are done. So what we're going to do now is have a go at texturing it. So we'll do it all in Blender. I'm not going to use any add-ons for other, sorry. One add-on I'm going to use is Blender Kit, which is what applies the materials for everything, and then we'll do all the texture painting to get all the details in. So I'm going to give this a save, and then we're going to have a go at texturing it. Okay, so we've got our Majoras mask. What we want to do now is start to texture it all. So to add a basic texture, I've got Blender Kit here. So I'm just going to search for something like this, and like raw wood rather. I'm going to take it and drag it over there. Now at the minute, nothing has happened because I need to come up to the top here and click on Material Preview. I am then going to click on Material and go to drag this over here and change this to Shader Editor because I want to do a little bit of editing. So we've already got texture mapping, but what I'm going to do is set up box mapping to make sure that I've got no weird seams or anything like that. So to do that, I'll make this a bit bigger so you can see what's going to happen first. Here I'm going to Shift A, type in value, grab that and put that into the scale. And it's going to mess up this for a second. I'm going to click that into there. So it looks terrible. I'm then going to come over to these textures and just change it from flat to box, and it'll say blend. I'm going to put it into like 0.3. I'm going to do it for all of these. And the whole point of doing this is it stops you when you UV unwrap having any visible seams. So like you can see where things start and end, which we don't want when we're painting over everything. 3. So we've got that, and then what we can do here, by doing this so you can see, can start playing with the value. Like that, and I think like I've missed. Let's change the scale a bit. And then we're going to change object to vector like that. Maybe don't want to rotate that. More like it. I do want that facing the other way though. There we go. It was a Y one rather than the X one. So that just sets up box mapping. So now you can't really see the seams. So when it goes over, you can't see the seams where the material stops and ends. You can play around with the scale as much as you want. Do something like that. You can also, if you wish to, play around with the normal, which will make the grain stick out a bit more. So it's 1, so you can do a little trial and error. Let's leave it. Let's see how 1 looks again. I think 1 was fine. So we've got that set up. So what we can then do is come over to Material tab. Down here, I'm going to give this a name, call this main body. I'm going to duplicate that material, call that eyes, and I'm going to select here, select eyes, and do the same. So I'm going to select this, then Shift select that, Control L to link materials. So that's set up. I'm going to duplicate that again. Let's call that like detailing. Let's come here, grab detailing, and link those materials as well. So we've got that. We want a slightly lighter wood. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at this and see how this looks. Okay, let's go with that. Let's all do the same again. So I'm going to come here, object to vector, shift A, type in value, put it into the scale, and then we'll just change this to box, and again blend. Put like 0.3. You can play around with the blend if it's like, it's trying to, as it says, blend these seams together so it's not as visible about where they join, because you're always going to have some joins no matter what. So the best way is to try and just make it look as like unobvious as possible. Okay, so we've got that one. Do we kind of want to darken this a little bit? Let's try this one. Let's just leave it. Okay, so we've got that. So what am I going to do? Let's call this spikes 1, and I'm going to link that and that together. Control L to link. Let's duplicate that. Call that spikes 2. And we'll link those two together because they're going to be the same as well. Let's duplicate it again. Spikes 3. Call that spikes 4. Link those. And then last one. Spikes 5. And link those. So let's just check they're all as we want. So we want these to be spikes 1, spikes 2, 3, 4, 5. That's body. That's going to be eyes. Detailing. Okay, so our materials are all set up. I'm going to give this a save so we don't lose anything. I can now close that. So now we can start doing all our painting. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this reference image and just turn the opacity up so we can see it a bit more. So let's start with the biggest bit, which is the main face. So I'm going to just come to the front, bring that so I can see it a bit more. So what we want to do is click on the material we want to start painting on. Okay, and then I'm going to take the principle, Shift D to duplicate it. Then what we're going to do is find our roughness, which is this one here, and plug that into the roughness. Find our normal, which is here, put it into the normal there. Move our output over a little bit, and we want to mix these together. So we're going to do Shift A, mix shader, and we're going to take the original principle, put that into the top, a new one into the bottom. And then what I want to do is Shift A and add an image texture and put that into the factor. I'm going to click on new and I want it to be black, because it's going to be a black mask, like that. And then what we can do is take this shader and put it into the output. Now we want to change this color so we can actually do color picker. So let's select the color here, let's grab the color picker and let's grab that. Again, let's give this a save. So we're going to come over to texture paint. But before I do that, I need to have it selected. Go to texture paint. I can turn on my tools there, select my mask. I can start painting it, but before I do that, I need to make sure, I'm going to come out of object mode quickly, is we need to unwrap everything. So I'm going to select all of it, tab, to go into edit mode, view to unwrap, I'm going to go to smart UV project, like that, and then I'm going to continue editing. I just want to make sure that I've got nothing overlapping that will mess up with the UVs. So I think we are good. Let's just check that again. Object. Put a little bit of margin. Not too much. Right, I think we are all good. Okay, so now we've got those UVs, now we can start doing that. The key thing here, because annoyingly, this is the second time recording this video, because I had UVs that were overlapping each other, so when you're painting on one, you ended up painting on multiple things. So select that material, select our mask, texture paint. Let's also turn on symmetry. So we want to go along the X, like that. So let's start painting everything in. First bit's quite easy because it's quite a big area. It gets a little bit more complex later on. Nothing too bad. It's quite a fun little texture painting activity, to be honest with you. Make sure I can see the reference. Press hold down F and drag your mouse. You can change the size of your brush. I will show you how to use a custom shape brush as well in a little bit. Okay, so we've got that. Let's then repeat the step, because what we're going to want is to do these red bits. So let's again take the original principle, or we can take that one, doesn't really matter. Shift D and drag it over. But again, what we want to do is make sure we plug in roughness. It needs to go up there, and same with the normals. If you don't do that, then it'll look like you painted the object, but the materials aren't showing through. And again, move the material up forwards, Shift A, mix shader, take that and put it into the top, take the new one, put it into the bottom, Shift A, image texture, and again, black mask. If you're not sure how black or masks work generally, so if you've used like Photoshop, you've got a white and a black mask. Black essentially means everything's hidden until you paint white over it, and then opposite with white, so white means everything's shown until you paint over it with black, and it will show what's underneath. Excuse me. Right, let's grab this colour. We want this red. There we go. And then let's put this into the surface. Yeah, that's coming through. If you decide you want to change the bump of the material, you can always do that later on as well. I think we're okay with it. And you can, the benefit of doing everything this way is if we later on decide we want to change the color of it, it's very, very easy to do as well. And this sort of eliminates the need to use Substance Painter to texture it, which granted is the best texturing software, but actually it's not that difficult to get the same results just in Blender, which is kind of the whole point. Okay. Let's do top orangey bits. My fans are starting to kick into overdrive on my laptop. Let's just make sure we save this so nothing gets lost. We'll do the same again. So this is a lot of rinse and repeat. It'll end up with quite a long node tree. But once you get the basics, so take the principle, duplicate it, Shift D, make sure you plug your roughness in, make sure you plug your normals in, bring it back over, Shift A, image texture, set to black, Shift A, mix shader, and then just make sure the original one goes to the top, the new one goes to the bottom, that goes into the factor, and then this goes into the output. Ooh. Okay, let's pick color again. Let's go away, grab you. Okay. There we go. So if you find you're getting some weird results, like it's not clicking the one you want, make sure you've got the mask selected, because then you can paint the bit that you want. Well, that's a bit, let's do it, and then that's a bit light, but let's see. Okay. I'm actually going to take this, put it here so I can see it a bit better. Texture paint. So it's going to be like yeah, something like that. Come across. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, let's leave that. Okay. So we've got that. Let's then do another layer. Shift D, bring it over. There we come. Oh no, I've accidentally joined that into something. Let's take the roughness, put it into the roughness, take the normal, put it into the normal, and then bring it back over to the front. And then let's bring our material output. As long as this material output is the one at the very, very end, that's one of the key things. Shift A, image texture, new black. Okay. Shift A, mix shader. Take that output, put it to there. And this one just needs to be black, so we bring it all the way down. Make that brush a little bit smaller. This kind of thing is also quite a bit easier if you've got like a stylus pen. I'm just using a mouse because I'm an idiot. And I don't have my stylus pen with me. I've left it in my office. It'll work. So you can do it. A mouse is just a little bit harder to do, but still doable. And of course, the big benefit of back symmetry on is you only have to do it once. There we go. Let's have these strokes on. How's that looking? Maybe a little bit more. Just because it's just poking over the edge. There we go. Right, we're also going to have right, let's do the white bit next, because then we're going to come back and do these black bits over here. Again, just going to give this a quick little save. Let's Shift D, take our principal, drag it all the way back over here. So it gets a little bit annoying when you've got loads and loads of layers, having to drag everything all the way, because you can see it's now getting quite long. You have to zoom in and out quite a lot, but it's not a massive deal, it's just a little bit annoying more than anything. Make shader, top, bottom, vector. Okay, let's do those orange bits. Let's take that, grab that, come to the front. Okay, and I'm going to make that brush a little bit smaller. That's something like that. We can always come here and change that to make it darker if we want to. Okay, let's then do the white detailing. Oh, actually, let's come back to the black bit. We also want to do a bit under the eyes as well, to make this bit black. Go. Right, let's do a white one. D. Bring it over. Grab the roughness. Grab the normal. Back to the front we go. Shift A, image texture, A, mix shader, bottom, top. Put that in. Let's change that to white. I'm going to take this reference image and move it over a little bit. Make this a bit smaller. So it's going to be something. Let's do that, so let's make it smaller. This is where having a pen makes it way easier. What I can do to undo that is get the black color and do that, then swap that back to white again. There we go. Let's come back and do this bit. Okay, that's going to be something around there. And sweep around. Okay. Oh, it does look a little bit too thick there, so let's grab that black. There you go, looks more like it. One more bit of white to do, which is up here. So what we're going to do is come up. Grab this and come across. Like that. This is where, by the way, if we come back in and decide this normal needs to be more prominent, that'll affect all the materials at the same time. Right, let's grab that black again, which is here. And then we've got a couple of black dots to do. Like that. Needs a bit closer together, I think. Okay, and then we're going to have 1, 2, 4 there. One, Okay, so we've got those, and then we're going to have the same up here. We're going to have one go across there. Like that. Okay, so we've got pretty much the whole base bit done. Let's give this a quick save. Let's start doing the spikes. So exactly the same as before. Shift D to duplicate it. Got roughness, we'll put into there. We've got our bump, put that into our normal. Bring that over. Shift A, image texture. Change that to black. Shift A, mix shader. Okay, so then let's change that to orange. And then I come to texture paint again. I come down to texture mask. Click on new. Click on this icon here. Go to new image. I can then grab the brushes that I created. I want the soft brush, which will be this one here. Make that a bit bigger. That just means the brush won't have as harsh of an end, which is what we want. Especially down at the bottom, like that. And then I can always go back to that one again. I'm going to make that a bit darker. And let's grab the same one right here. Okay, let's do the same thing. This one here. Shift D. Take our roughness. It's going to be a lot less complicated because we've got one layer of paint on these ones. Normal. Shift A, image texture. Shift A, mix shader. Change that to a black mask. Put that into the bottom. Put that into the top. Put that into the factor. And then in there, and this is going to be a blue. Again, we can always change that blue later if we decide it's not the right kind of blue. Got our soft brush selected. Just play around with that blue a sec. Yeah, something like that's probably a bit better. Let's grab this one. Same again. So this is where the first time I recorded this, I had realised after painting everything on the face, I had overlapping UVs, and then it was messing up painting of the spikes, which was like the last thing I did, which was incredibly heartbreaking. Right. Then we want a green one, so let's come out of texture paint mode. Grab that one. Shift D. Give this a quick save. Put your roughness, put that into the roughness. Do a bump, put that into normal. Shift A. Image texture, change that to black. Shift A, mix shader. Top, bottom, into the factor, and then into here. I'm going to change that to a green. A bit dark green. Let's leave it flat to begin with. Like that. Texture paint. Are you happy with that green, or do we want? It's a bit better. Grab this one. Texture paint. Okay. Then it's got next one. D. Roughness. Normal. Shift A. Image texture. New. Black mask. Shift A. Mix shader. This is more of a orangey ready sort of colour. Same on this one. Okay, one more, and then we've just got to do the eyes, which are like the glow up bits, which are really cool. Again, just give that a quick save so nothing sinister happens. Check D, roughness, normal. Check A, image texture. Check A, mix shader. Bottom, top, and into the factor. Let's change, we've got the same as that yellow, don't we? So let's take this hex code. Last one. Okay, spikes are done. Give the face. Let's see. Now we've got two eyes, obviously, but I think what we'll do is we'll do one and then delete the other and duplicate over. So, same as before. Shift D to duplicate it. I'm going to take our roughness and our normal. Shift A, make shader. Shift A, image texture. Change that to black. So this is also so we want that to be like, it's got red, orange, yellow, doesn't it? So let's do like a red. But what we can also do is come to emissive and change that to like a reddy color. So what we can do is go to texture paint, make that bigger, and make it glow. Make it look all evil and cool. There you go, look at that. So let's, do you want that more? No, that's too much. 1.5. Maybe just one is right. 0.2. 2.8. Okay, let's, because we can play around with that, we'll make that more red. There you go. Let's Shift D to duplicate that. And let's take our roughness and our normal. Shift A, image texture again. Change that to black. Shift A, make shader. This time it's going to be more orangey. Come to the front, make it a bit. Looking good. Then there's another one which is more yellowy. Shift D. Take your roughness. Take this, put it into the null. Shift A, image texture. Change to black. Shift A, mix shader. Top, bottom, and factor. And this is going to be more yellowy. Something like that. Then we want black, green, black. D. Okay. Top, bottom, factor. Let's change this to black. Okay, let's then do green. Again, I'm going to save. I don't want anything to get lost. Shift D. Roughness and normal. We're nearly done. We've only got 2 more layers left to do. Shift A, mix shader. Shift A, image texture. Change to black. Top, bottom, and into factor again. Change that to green. And one more, which will be a black one. Shift D. And the reason why we can't use this black one again is that if I go smaller, that layer is on top of the other one, so we can't actually see through it. Excuse me. Okay. Take that, put it into the roughness, put that into the normal. Drag it all over. Shift A, image texture. Shift A, mix shader. Top, bottom. Oh, and then let's just change this to black for the last bit. Okay, so what we might choose to do, let's see. Do you want to play with the normal a little bit? Two. Okay, let's give this a save. Come up, object mode. I'm going to take this and delete. Take this, Shift D, and then we're going to right click, mirror X. So we've got that across there. I realise we've still not done these bits here, which need to be black. That's very easy to do, so let's just come here, Shift D. In fact, let's just see if we can do it without having to. Let's go Shift A, do a color ramp, put that in there. Let's just make that black. Does that work? It does. There you go. That is way easier than having to do all that again. Delete that. Make it slightly less black, like a little off black sort of. There you go, that's a bit more like it. Okay, let's give this a save. And we are done. Oh, no, one thing I said I wanted to make sure I did was paint the inside of this mask as well. So let's save, grab the main body, let's grab this colour here, texture paint. Let's just do the inside as well. No one will see it, but I'll know and it'll bother me greatly. Okay, and we are done. Let's get rid of that. Bring up my reference image so we can have a little look. And say we didn't get far away. So, I hope you've enjoyed following along. If you got any questions, leave a comment down below or email me at design with Simon at outlook.com.